and welcome to Critical Political. I'm Corey and you're watching The Political Void. This week we are delving into how fascism impacts the media in history and today. Here we go. Journalists and media organizations possess the fundamental right of press freedom, which permits them to report news, delve into corruption, and offer critiques of the government. This essential liberty functions without the threat of retaliation or censorship, serving to keep the populace knowledgeable while ensuring those in leadership remain answerable for their actions. News organizations rely on press freedom to conduct intensive investigations into corporate malpractice, police misconduct, and municipal corruption. During civil rights demonstrations and volatile protests, journalists report from the front lines, capturing video and photographs. Furthermore, they demand transparency regarding the use of taxpayer funds by questioning politicians at public briefings. In nations where press freedom is upheld, journalists operate without restriction, allowing them to release investigative exposés or publish editorial critiques on the head of state. Conversely, in regions lacking these protections, the state exerts heavy control over all media, utilizing it as a tool for political propaganda and criminalizing any dissent against the supreme leader. By the way, this video is sponsored by the like button. Click it below to find out more. While roots of Italian censorship trace back to the ancient Roman Empire, the fascist era of the early to mid 20th century serves as the most prominent example of the risks and complications associated with state-controlled media. Following the fascist party's ascent to power in 1922, Benito Mussolini orchestrated the imprisonment of numerous political rivals, such as the leader of the Italian Communist Party, for voicing opposition to the regime. To solidify his authority, Mussolini either shuttered or nationalized any media outlet or newspaper that challenged government policy. Throughout his 23-year tenure, this near-total control over public information served to bolster his personal influence and maintain his grip on the nation. Ultimately, however, the collapse of his government followed Italy's catastrophic alliance with the German Empire during World War II. In the wake of the war, the birth of a modern democracy led to a new constitutional framework in Italy. This post-war constitution explicitly secured the right of every citizen to express their ideas through any medium of communication. By removing the requirement for prior government approval for news publication, the new laws significantly unburdened the press. Conversely, the Constitution did retain certain restrictions, specifically prohibiting any displays or publications deemed to offend public decency. Paul Reusch, while serving as the managing director of the prominent German industrial group GHH, oversaw the Münchner Neue Nachrichten, which was the largest newspaper in Bavaria. In early 1932, following two discussions with then-leader Adolf Hitler, Reusch entered into a formal arrangement. Under this agreement, the Munich-based publication committed to avoiding any unwarranted and personal attacks against the leader and individual National Socialist leaders. The consequences became clear just 1 year later. Hitler's subordinates had seized control of the newsroom operations. Jewish reporters had been purged from the staff, and the paper had transitioned into a vehicle for virulent hate propaganda. China currently holds one of the most closed media landscapes globally, utilizing intensive government oversight, pervasive digital monitoring, and broad censorship to stifle free reporting. Positioned at 178 out of 180 on the World Press Freedom Index, the nation is recognized as the premier incarcerator of members of the press worldwide. A report suggests that the Trump administration maintains a compilation of media offenders, which reportedly features social media-based journalists David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen, Beyond their significant reach and following across multiple digital platforms, these two commentators share several notable traits. Although both lean left in their political coverage, a particularly striking commonality is their shared religious background in Judaism, a detail that appears increasingly suspicious given the context of the list and the near immediate placement on this list, along with Don Lemon over many other individual journalists. This Media Offenders compilation spans a wide array of major news organizations and publishers, featuring prominent names such as ABC News, CBS News, MSNBC, CNN, Reuters, Bloomberg, USA Today, and the Wall Street Journal. The roster also extends to include the New York Times, Politico, Axios, and the Associated Press, while even targeting news aggregators like Google, MSN, and Apple News for their supposed role in amplifying left-leaning perspectives. Trump frequently employs media attacks as a standard strategy, erupting in tirades against fake news whenever reporting displeases him. His objective, whether targeting specific journalists or entire organizations, is unmistakable. He seeks to bypass First Amendment protections and coerce the American media, the Fourth Estate, into submission. Political theorist Hannah Arendt said, "The moment we no longer have a free press, anything can happen. What makes it possible for a totalitarian or any other dictatorship to rule is that many people are not informed. If everybody always lies to you, the consequence is not that you believe the lies, but rather that nobody believes anything any longer." Defending press freedom requires proactive engagement. Prioritize consuming and funding reputable news outlets. Advocate for transparency within your local government, and contribute to legal defense funds and advocacy organizations. Leveraging the interactions on social media can be an effective way to support independent journalists through the algorithms that determine what media is delivered to people with similar interests. By taking these steps, you help shield journalists from censorship and provide them with the necessary tools to hold those in power accountable. Personally, I feel somewhat slighted that my name has yet to make an appearance on this list. Given how much I have challenged the current administration, I would have expected to be ranked among the media antagonists and leftist influencers by now. I will keep my followers updated if I do end up on that list. That's all for this week. Until next time, remember, silence is compliance. Your voice is vital. Stand up, speak out, strike back. They don't know what they started. If you appreciate this content, please like, share, and subscribe. For updates, ring the bell. Your support truly helps the channel.
Take the planet.